numbers like surgeons' decisions. They got the stats playing minds like percussion. MLB predictions spark the discussion. Stacking cash higher than Fenway's monster. Slinging wild bets like cowboy imposters. Reading those innings like Nostradamus. Wave the green hot streets like Bahamas. Spreadsheets everywhere, mathematician minds analyze the games, profits they grind, fastballs, curveballs, every pitch is tail, in their heads, knuckleballs never fail. Erik reading numbers like tarot cards, David calling shots like all-star guards, money lines, parlays, come hit with precision, home run predictions, no intermission. High stakes, ballers cashing checks in, lines with the bets, swinging from the pen. Erik and David, masters of the scoreboard. MLB bets and claim they hoard. High stakes, ballers cashing checks in, rise with the bets, swinging from the pen. Erik and David, kings of the ledger. Baseball fortune spread them like treasure.
Hello and welcome to Diamond Bets for June 20th. How's everyone doing? My name is Erik, the guy with the big halo behind me and the sun. He's shining in Chicago. And that is David over there. David, how you doing today, my man?
Doing well, man. I was about to ask you, I was like, who's that glare in the background for you? That's not a common thing out there, is it?
No, not common at all. Whether we've had a hurricane today, now it's sunny as hell. It's supposed to be 90 over the weekend. It's going to be absolutely hell here. First of all, before we dive into the bets, I have to say that Ohtani, after getting hit, going over to the Padres dugout by himself. Well, first of all, he gave the hand to the dugout so they didn't come off the fight.
Yep.
And then he walked over to the dugout by himself, said some stuff, and left. The biggest gangster move of the week.
Yeah, no lie. I mean, he saw it coming. I mean, it matched that series. I don't know if it was the same series, the one before, but same outcomes, right? Tatis got hit, then they pegged Ohtani. Like, same exact situation. It was interesting when the managers, or at least when the LA manager pushed the San Diego manager. I saw that, initial push there, and that kind of grabbed me by surprise. But yeah, that was definitely that was a good move on his part. You don't see that too often, but that was smart. I like that. Let me just own it. That's kind of like, you expect it. There's unwritten rules. Like, it's coming. Like, he's 3-0. I mean, did he try to put somebody on base that way? I don't necessarily think so. I actually kind of looked at it like that one did get away a little bit. But, it is what it is after warnings were issued. So
I thought it was a straight G move, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Let's jump into some bets. Guys watching for the first time or returning, you know how we do it. Each have 3 bets, and we build you a DFS lineup.
Yep.
We had $1 million idea for the DFS lineup, but of course, DraftKings isn't listing the kid for the Braves going on the mound. So we're back to the drawing board, but let's jump right into it. We each have 3 bets. Why don't you start us off with your first bet, my friend?
Yep. So taking a look at this, I got Astros at the Angels, and I always try to pair this up, good pitching with great hitting as well. I'm always the one that's like, bet on teams that can hit. I think I steered Erik away from a few bets this week when we were just texting each other, and he was like, "What do you think about them?" And I'm like, "Their bats are ice cold. I'd stay away." Right, and then they lived up to that, especially yesterday with the Mets. Right, so
yeah, I did.
In this case,
and I thank you for that.
Yeah. In this case, the Astros are my number 1 offensive team after their series with Oakland. Still on the road, but obviously winning the series that they have, and they still are just following it up with great pitching behind it. So, again, Astros right now, my number 1 offensive team. Angels, my number 22 offensive team. Coming into this, Astros are averaging 9 runs silly because they were putting up 11, 13. I think yesterday was 5, 6, something like that. Anyway, they've been putting up runs in bunches basically. So I'm looking at them to continue that momentum. Angels went a little cold after taking taking the series against the Yankees. They weren't putting up runs in bunches. They were just being effective, which I could see that for that series, coming into this for this week. So wasn't too surprised there. When you look at the pitching matchup, you got Hunter Brown on the mound for the Astros here. On the season, he's stellar. 8-3, WHIP of .93, probably like the sixth top, somewhere in the top 10 with, in terms of WHIP, in terms of that. So his last 3 starts, his WHIP is under 1, .95, sparkling. He's allowed just 8 hits and 3 walks, had 16 Ks, no earned runs whatsoever. He's had shutout innings against the Blue Jays, 6 shutout innings against the Cards, continuing a real dominant streak for himself. So he's showing really elite control, generating a lot of weak contact, and he has a high K rate right now. I mean, he's an ace in the making in the Astros rotation, and he's top tier fantasy asset. We might have to be looking at him, in terms of our DFS. But on the opposite end, Kikuchi for the Angels, his WHIP is somewhere about 1.5 over 15 starts for himself on the season. His last 3 have been better. He's averaging around 1.3. He's had some notable outings, but there've been teams. They're teams like Miami, that haven't had greater offensive depth. Not the high quality stuff. He's on a quality stretch run for himself, but overall he's got an elevated WHIP of about 1.5. So while inconsistent, he's stringing together some quality starts, but he's still mid-rotation arm, and he's got some limitations. So the way that I'm looking at this is that Brown is that staple for the Astros, probably the future ace of theirs. But he's definitely emerged as Hunter Brown has emerged as one of the best young starters in MLB. His sub 1 WHIP, high K rate, dominant starts from everything that he's doing, I think are going to elevate this team continuing to roll to start this series off tonight and Friday night. Offensive bats are hot. They've got, the pitching edge, in my opinion. They've got the offensive edge. I'm taking them on the run line at the -1.5, meaning they need to win by 2. We're getting plus money on this. But again, I always like doing this for the away teams when they have a hot bat and this, because they're guaranteed 9 at-bats. And obviously, if they're winning the game, they'll guarantee the home team 9. But away teams are always guaranteed the 9 at-bats, no matter what. It gives them that much more presence at the plate, gives them the chance to win by more than 1 run, and that's usually the case. So, that's how I'm looking at this matchup. I really like Hunter Brown to start him off this series. Really strong ace in the rotation of theirs. Great offensive prowess from the offense right now. Let's start off with a win with the Astros.
I like it. I like Hunter Brown a lot. Probably if it wasn't for Skubal, he would be right up there in the conversation for the Cy Young. Yeah. My first bet, going out to your neck of the woods, dude. Give me America's team. Give me the Colorado Rockies plus 155 on the first 5. It's the Rockies, so no one's really paying attention, but they've been playing some solid baseball lately.
They have.
Last week, 12th best batting average against righties, scored the 5th most runs, 7th in total hits. This offense is quietly producing, took 3 out of 4 against the Nationals, lost in extras last game, destroyed the Braves earlier on Sunday, playing great. They face Zach Gallen today, and this isn't the Zach Gallen of old. His overall pitching run value this season, -10, that's in the 7th percentile. Fastball, which he throws 47% of the time, has a run value of -6, also in the 7th percentile. Bottom of the line, he is not fooling anyone right now. His ERA sits at 5.19, WHIP of 1.35. If you zoom in on his recent form, it gets worse. Over his last 2 starts, the ERA rises up to 5.54, WHIP all the way up to 1.46. Plus, the Rockies are expected to roll out 7 hitters today who have a positive run value against the fastball. So it's a tough matchup for Gallen. Now, on the other side, Austin Gober gets the ball. He doesn't have enough innings yet to qualify for the full StarCast run value metrics that I mentioned a lot. But his first start of the season was excellent against the Braves. 5 scoreless innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, a WHIP of 0.6, ERA of 0. Now you look at the Diamondbacks lineup this week. Haven't been really doing well against left-handed pitching. 24th in hits, 28th in runs, 27th in batting average. They're really struggling. here's a little bonus too. Are you ready for this bonus?
Always.
If this year you just blindly bet the Rockies in game 1 of every series on the first 5 when they're at home, you have a 32.3% ROI. Just blindly this year, betting the first 5.
That's amazing.
And then I did a little research. Over the last 20 years, do you tend to guess which pitcher has the best ROI for the first 5?
Gomer.
Like literally. Like
I would never guess that. I mean, I'm only saying it because
1% ROI, the highest over the last 20 years. Absolutely mind-boggling that it's that high. So you get the Rockies quietly swinging it well, facing a struggling pitcher. You have 2 metrics that support taking this, 2 trends, and a team that in the Diamondbacks is struggling against lefties. And I'm getting over plus 1.5. Give me the Rockies first 5 plus 155, my friend.
I definitely like this bet a lot. I mean, I think the Rockies are one of my top 10 offensive teams coming into this series, as you kind of mentioned, especially the way that the bats have heated up over the last week. They are my number 8 overall offensive team. So, again, I think it's market perception. This has everything to do with public perception in terms of Gallen versus Gomer. Knowing it's the Rockies, knowing that they're just, one of the bottom barrel teams in terms of record, but not in terms of recency performance. And that's exactly what Erik just described, which I think is amazing and something I'm going to look to take advantage of in this series this weekend as well.
Let's keep it going. I actually just put this one in when you were talking, and I love it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so taking a look at the board, I found this to be one of the most value plays on the board. This is true value here. You're getting 2-1 on your money. And again, this has a lot to do with perception and public perception of where these, they're looking at starting pitching only. And I'm only betting on the first 5 for starting pitching. So I'm going to attack my man, Max Fried, with Baltimore and, take a look at, how this kind of matches up for him. Baltimore right now is in my top 10 offense. They are my number 6 ranked offensive team. They have been hitting well, so well, in fact, that they've been putting up close to 6 runs a game. The Yankees, half of that, about 3 runs a game for themselves. They have not found their bats lately. They've been ice cold. I think they've won 1 out of the last 7 or 8 in terms of, their series and everything that they've been doing. They're what? They've only won the last game of the series against the Angels. Got swept by Boston before that. Then they were playing at KC, and that was the last time they won a series, which was last week. So, a whole week ago for themselves. But the way that I'm also looking at this, all right, so that's the offensive matchup. You talk about the number 6 ranked Baltimore Orioles offensive team going against the number 23 ranked 23rd. All right, 23rd ranked team in the Yankees offense. And don't get me wrong, they got their ace on the mound. Fried is a beast, right? But here's how I'm matching these up. I cannot say this guy's name to save a life. I'm going to try to say his last name. Shugano.
Okay.
Right, Tomoyuki Shigano is our starting pitcher for the Orioles today. Now, on the season, he's got a whip of about 1.14. Now, his recency performance it's kind of a mixed bag, right? So against the Mariners, looking like an ace, sub-1 whip, about 0.86. After that, his next start, inflated against the A's, and then marginally against the Angels are his last 3 starts. But the outlook here is that he's really a reliable mid-rotation option where he irons things out for himself. Yes, he's had some concerns with volatility early in games, but, really, if he can iron out that early inning command for himself here against the Yankees, he's got sustained form near a 1.1 whip, which would solidify his role here for lining this up with a bet in the value that I'm seeing here on the board. I don't know that I need to really say a whole lot about Max Fried. This man has been dominating early season form for himself, sub 1 whip. He's elite level, leading the Yankees in Cole's absence. And, he's got the top tier control as he is, showing that under 1 whip. But I mean, you're talking about Max Fried at 0.95 of a whip, Shigano at 1.1. And I'm just looking at it as, this offense for Baltimore is going to come out and surprise everybody and jump on a lefty here. And I want to just take a look at one more thing, which, from a lefty standpoint as well, Baltimore's got, good presence against lefties as well. So definitely something I think they're going to get in front of them early. Anytime you go in against strong pitching, against strong offense, that offense is usually going to come out on top. And the reason for that is because it doesn't matter who you put on the mound. When your team is seeing the ball well, they're going to get runners on base. They're going to take advantage of the mistakes, and they're going to put runs across. So I am not going out on a limb here. I'm really looking at this as this is a market play, a value play that a lot of people are looking at the same way. In terms of this, they see Max Fried on the board. They throw a minus 280, minus 300, or whatever it's creeping up to money line in there. And that, I think, is overvaluing the Yankees and how bad they've been in recent form with their offense. Not going to be able to support Max Fried, but I think the Baltimore's offense is going to be able to support Shigano. And I think the pitchers are going to go toe-to-toe and, have some benefits there for the first 5. I'm taking Baltimore's bullpen completely out of this, by the way, because as we watched them before, they have had historic meltdowns in the later innings, and they are not in good form right now. They've been taxed. Their whip is somewhere around 1.5 right now when I last looked at it today. So definitely I'm avoiding the bullpen, playing the first 5. Let's get 2-1 on our money and, get a win here as well.
I like it. I like it a lot. My next one is I am going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays on the first 5, minus 106. Jack Flaherty gets the ball for the Tigers. He isn't the same pitcher we've seen in the years past. Overall pitch run value is sitting at just +1. His fastball, which he throws nearly 46% of the time, has a pitch run value of 0. That's not ideal, especially against a Rays lineup that is fully loaded with hitters who can handle that pitch. 10 guys on their roster have a positive run value against the 4-seamer. Also worth noting, because of the heat in Tampa right now, and they're playing outside because of what happened at their old stadium, the ball is carrying more. And that's bad news for Flaherty, who has a ground ball rate of 32%. His numbers this season at first glance, 4.03 ERA, 1.18 whip. But when you look at his recent starts, his last 2, 5.94 ERA, 1.42 whip. Meanwhile, when we look at the Rays over the last 7 days, they lead MLB against right-handed pitching in batting average, runs scored, and total hits. So I have a hot offense against right-handed pitching, a struggling pitcher. This matchup for me just says to take Tampa on the first 5, minus 106, and kind of the same thought process as you. Tigers bullpen has been pretty solid. Tigers have been pulling off some stuff later in games. I'm just going to take the Rays on the first 5, not worry about anything else. So Rays first 5, minus 106, my friend.
Nice.
Next bet, my friend. You're going against my crew, but I like this bet.
Yep. So Milwaukee versus Minnesota today. Again, offensive rankings, Minnesota's winning out here. They're my top 5. They're my number 4 offensive ranked team coming into this series for themselves, averaging about 6 runs a game right now. Brew Crew averaging 4.5 respectively. And, it's also a respectful outing for them in terms of that. But the way that I match that up, number 4 ranked offense going against number 13 ranked offense in the Brewers. So you're getting a top 5 offensive team in Minnesota going against a mid offensive team, middle of the pack anyway, number 13 ranked with the Brew Crew. So let's break down a little bit of the pitching performance here as well, right? On one end, you got kind of a rookie here, Jacob. I don't even know how to say this last name, Mizorowski. He just had his debut, right? June 12th. So what we're looking at here is really just a very small sample size, right? Basically, he's got a lot of strengths, right? So he's got a triple-digit heater, got a lead swing and miss potential, but his risk area is that he's got command issue. He had 4 walks in his debut. He's got uncertain innings capacity as a starter. So he's a high upside dark horse for the Brewers rotation. Ideal for fantasy, right? But he has a very cautious walk volume and starter reliability right now. And again, small sample size. So the scouting reports is all you can kind of go off of. They describe that elite velocity, triple digits, like I mentioned. He's got the swing and miss stuff for sure. But, again, it's going to come down to proven command as well as, how he can control that with his walks. So on the other hand, and again, he's going against some pretty hot bats in Minnesota. So these guys are seeing the ball really well right now. Seeing triple digits is no shame to them. They're going to sit on a fastball. Okay. But at the same point, on the other side of the mound, you got Joe Ryan, right? You're talking pretty much just legitimate top tier starter, as long as his health always holds, right? His last 3 starts, averaging 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 Ks, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 walks. I mean, he has a continued streak of deep, effective starts. So from that, he's also maintaining basically a whip, sub 1 whip of 0.9. So he's showing that he can do it on a consistent basis, which I'm putting more, emphasis on the consistency of the stat volume that Joe Ryan is displaying versus, the rookie getting a second start here. So the rookie, elite strikeout upside, questionable control. Joe Ryan, ace level consistency, proven performance. I've only got the one outing to really describe Mizorowski's whip. But again, I'm looking at Joe Ryan and that offensive output of Minnesota still getting to him. But whichever team, but we have a full game here, right? Yeah. And I'm saying that because basically these bullpens are in great form. Minnesota's, just so heavily favored again because of it being Joe Ryan that their money line is upwards of minus 150, getting closer to maybe minus 160 by game time. So I'm taking the run line here of -1 to give us just better odds and money management at the minus 110 level. Obviously, they got to win by 2, but it gives us that little cushion in case they do win the game by 1 run. Gives us a push, mentality there. It gives us a different thing other than a loss, right? So I definitely always look for those plays where I can for bankroll management purposes, how you could, spin the run line into our advantage with the home team. Obviously, they're not guaranteed 9 at-bats if they have, the outing, but I'm hopeful that they get to this rookie early and often and to, Brew Crew's bullpen. Again, both bullpens are in great form. They both are sitting at about a 1 whip right now. So I could see this very much being a very close game, but I could also see this being a game where Minnesota just jumps out in front pretty early just because their bats are so hot. So,
and also the kid, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name, had a little bit of an injury issue last game, and he actually exited early. So who even knows if he's going to have that push off? You know what I mean?
Right.
We really don't know what we're going to expect for them. So, I mean, and also it's kind of like a good fade. You're just coming off beating your former manager in Chicago on the road, your big rival. Now you have to travel up, no offense to Minnesota, up to Minnesota. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we talk about in NFL, a letdown spot, if you will.
Right.
So
Right.
I like this one a lot. Went to a player prop for my last one. Arenado. Am I saying that right?
Arenado?
Arenado.
Aranda?
Arondo.
Yep. Gotcha.
From the Jonathan Aranda from the Braves, Jesus. From the Rays, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, -110. Against right-handed pitching over the last 7 days, he's been locked in leading the league in hits, 5th in runs scored, 6th in RBIs against right-handed pitching, seeing it very well. I also mentioned Jack Flaherty before, who leans heavily on the four-seam fastball, throwing it 46% of the time. Plays right into his strength against the four-seamer fastball this season. He's hitting 355, 565 slugging percentage, and an impressive run value of +8. So look, we're combining a hot back against a favorable matchup. Just give me the over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. It just one of those things. It makes so much sense. He's going to go over 3 with 2 walks. So, and I'm going to be pissed off texting you, swearing I'm never going to bet this guy again. So let's go ahead. Let's bring up the DFS slate. Kind of look to build this out together. If you don't mind.
I'm shaking my head right now because we couldn't have the Cubs and Seattle playing tonight.
I know.
You know what that means? Cal Raleig's not available. My guy.
Your guy, Cal.
Earlier today, home runs, 4 runs, 3 RBIs, and a stolen base, the 750 average today.
He's just pimping.
Come on. This is my go-to guy that I'm like, it's just automatic fill spot for catcher.
He's just
killing me right now.
So I put in 2 people. I put in my boy J.A. and McMahon. I needed someone against Galleon.
Okay.
McMahon's been coming up good. Cheaper option. I guess so the thing so this is the thing. We need to start off with pitchers. So like pitchers where you get the most. So
my guy Hunter's all the way at the top. I don't think we can go him.
So but the thing is you mentioned the kid from Baltimore. If we put him in, he's only 6,400.
Okay.
So if you really if we pay down for him, that's going to leave us open for Hunter.
Okay.
And we can get Hunter in the lineup against the Angels.
Okay.
Sure. I'm just kind of looking at it over the last. God, dude, Aaron Page. Are the Nationals on this? Yep. Nationals play the Dodgers. It's against right-handed pitching though. Who's been Kershaw's on the mound?
Gore? There's no way that I want to put Gore up there.
I know. I'm looking for RBAs against lefties. I'm seeing nothing. Runs against lefties. I am seeing nothing. Okay. So we're gonna go to RBIs against righties. Pagewood. Atlanta. How about your boy Marcella?
Oh, okay. Let me look at him real quick. Ozuna. Yeah, he's a little cold. He's sitting around 200. Let me see what we got going on over there.
I'm seeing the 8 RBIs though.
Where?
I'm just looking against right-handed pitching over the last 7 days.
Oh, okay. What's Acuna looking at? Or Albies. He's been pretty good too.
Altuve's been great. Altuve.
Oh, I know that.
No
question. I just think he's going to be expensive, right? Like everybody knows that.
Oh, Altuve's 4,700.
Okay. Put him in.
You want to put in Jose Altuve? Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put him in at the outfield position.
Okay.
So that way we'll have a little bit more
cheaper.
A little bit more.
Definitely think we need to get Acuna in there.
All right. You want to go Acuna?
He's right there. Yeah, you can. Yep.
He's 63. That's the only thing, though.
I know, but we're kind of offsetting,
Okay. But we're going to have to find some low budget dudes. Let's go to the catcher position.
I know. Contreras?
Who
Not
do the
for
Reds play? You want to go Stevenson?
catcher?
Yeah.
Let me look. Stevenson.
330 batting average.
Yeah, I'm down with him. Let's do that. Yeah, man, that guy's all over it.
All right, so we're gonna need to find a second baseman, someone that's a little cheaper on the radar. We're gonna have to go a little cheaper on the radar. We're gonna have to be.
Where's all these? Bucks, maybe? Reds have been pretty good.
In this, we're gonna have to go cheap. Gonna have to look cheap, my friend. Gonna have to go dumpster dive in the second base.
Iglesias, go back down. See what Iglesias is doing for San Diego. Nope. Hamilton. Boston, nope. Dubon.
Spell it. D what?
Yeah, for Houston. Dubon. Mauricio.
For Houston.
He's on your screen. I don't know if you need to actually scroll over. There you go. 2,800. How about that for savings?
There we go.
This dude's 350, ranked number 55 offensive player of the week.
So we need a $3,200 shortstop. A 3,200 shortstop.
Is just out of range. Correa is just out of range.
I mean, we could look to see if there's.
We could look to getting a little respect, I think.
Dude, I love me some Chase, dude. Don't knock my boy Chase.
I'm not knocking him. He's on my fantasy team, but he's below the Mendoza line this week.
Don't knock my boy Chase.
Parker Meadows? No.
Geostan? No.
Are you looking at outfield?
Yeah, I went to outfield real quick because I feel there's more options in the outfield.
Mm-hmm. Angels in the outfield.
Angels in the outfield.
What's Ford have been doing?
You know what? Honestly,
nope. Moniak.
Doyle
rules. Let's find out. Nope, not at all. We have 60. We're looking at 3,200-ish range.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, dude. Castro hits righties well, dude.
Castro. Oh, yeah. You got to throw him in for sure.
Shortstop.
Throw him in shortstop?
No, we had to go outfield.
Okay.
We had to go outfield, and now we're at shortstop. Got options.
Serious. Syracuse. Good. Walls? I feel like Walls, I've heard his name recently. He was taking people deep. I think Taylor Walls might be somebody for Tampa worth the move there.
What is this? All right. I'm sorry. You want to go with Walls?
I think so.
Let's go with Walls, dude.
Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look at a couple other people. Top players at shortstop. I'm guessing Xavier Edwards is way up there.
Yeah, he's gonna be really pricey, man.
Okay.
The X-Man is gonna be way too much money, dude.
What about Bryson Stott? Where's he at?
Spell his last name.
Stott.
He is too much.
Just right there. Fitzgerald for San Fran. Nope. Cubs already played. What about Nick Gonzalez for Pittsburgh?
I don't think
Not
Pittsburgh
available.
slate.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Pitt isn't on the slate. Pitt is not on the slate, my friend.
What about? I don't know. Where's Arcia? Where's Arcia for Colorado? I mean, I don't mind keeping Orlando. I mean, Taylor Wall's in there, but as long as you got him, we're probably okay.
Yeah, we go Arcia.
Okay.
There you go. We have 2 Colorado Rockies in the lineup, dude, and I fucking love it. I love.
We got another 500. If you see something you want to.
No, I like this, man.
All right.
I like this.
Just checking.
I like this.
Just checking.
All right, my man. Everybody, appreciate for tuning in. Sorry, we're starting a little bit late. Hell week for me at work, but we're getting this out about 13 minutes late. Apologize for that. Make sure to give that gentleman a follow at BetterDP21 and give me a follow at eToff21Sports. We'll be back next week. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Why not? We'll be back next week talking some shit unless David is fucking in the beach somewhere.
I'm going to the UFC event in Vegas next weekend. Sequoia.
Well, I'll be back next week. This son of a bitch will die.
If we can do it earlier, it'll be okay.
All right.
We need to do it at regular time.
We'll
2, 3 o'clock.
We'll talk it out. We'll talk it out.
Yeah.
Make sure to give this guy a follow. We'll be back one of us, maybe 2 of us, will be back next week. Give this guy a follow. Best of luck in your bets. Make sure to like, subscribe. Yep. We'll be back next week. Let's cash some tickets. Let's make some money. Good luck, my friend.
Thanks as always.